What is up, everybody? Episode 2 of GOTY Gang. We're finally back a year to the day of episode 1. I am one of your 4 hosts, Tanner. And with me, I have arguably our industry's leading, Skylar, you need to plug in your headphones, leading industry leaders. I'm joined by my Muscle Orchestra co-host. We got Chris.
What's up?
I'm joined by fellow Violent People co-founder. I guess Chris is also that. Sam.
What's up?
And we're joined. Skylar's here too.
I still don't care about your dad.
Jesus Christ. Fucking Christ. Hey,
I just can open a Baja Laguna lemonade for the
Oh, you want to give us a review
episode this
real quick?
evening. Good stuff. Top tier.
Okay. That was it? Okay. And today we are going to be, if you don't remember, GOTY Gang, every 3 months, 2 months, we're going to release an episode. So it's been 12 months since the 2010 episode. Go back and listen to that on the AYCH feed, because now you're listening to this on the AYCH feed. And we are going to come up with our top 10 games of 2011. And let me say, 2011, weird year.
Can we talk about where we all were at in 2011? Like, what was your life like? How are you gaming? How are you living?
I wasn't gaming in 2011. I said it before we started recording, but that was the year I turned 16. So I was interested in everything else, not video games.
Just real horned up, you know?
I will say that was the year I started keeping a spreadsheet of wrestling matches. So I guess I just traded one very nerdy hobby for another.
Yeah, you downgraded.
Yeah, definitely. But hey, if anybody...
That's when I got embarrassed on Wrestling Forum by seeing Tanner for the first time.
Back in 2011?
I think so. Whenever you started posting, hey, let's count how many matches we're watching this year.
I think that was 2012.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think that was the next year, because I kept the actual physical notebook in 2011. It wasn't even a spreadsheet. It was an actual...
All right, Joe Lanza.
Wow.
We're starting off hot.
Well, I'm about to say my favorite word. Okay.
Gaming. That's an out of game podcast. You can't say you're about to say your favorite word because listen, it's usually one particular word.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's overlap there. Definitely. So what was everybody else doing in 2011?
I was a junior in high school, and I was playing a decent amount of games. I don't know. I was a normal 17-year-old, like between my extracurriculars and hanging out with the homies. I was playing video games.
Hell yeah!
The way you said extracurriculars was like, are you talking about like fucking? Like what the?
Oh yeah, that and choir practice.
Oh
hell yeah!
I thought you were gonna say
so not fucking.
I was almost in choir, and then I was worried I wouldn't be able to get a girlfriend in high school, and then I never had a girlfriend in high school, so without choir, so. And that sounds more sad, but I'm married now, so it all evens out, I guess. Sam, what were you doing?
Who showed who? You know?
Yeah.
I was graduating high school in the year
Okay.
of 2011.
Okay.
I remember very little of that year because I graduated, obviously, go to community college, want to die. Just good stuff. I can't remember playing a single one of these games in that year, but that can't be possibly true.
I think I would have played one, maybe 2 of these games in 2011. And
I definitely played Resistance 3. Never mind. I definitely played Resistance 3.
Okay, I'm looking at this. There probably are a few games I did actually play in 2011, but we'll get to it. Skylar, what were you doing in 2011?
I was a sophomore in college. I recently, I think at the beginning of the year, I bought a new laptop, which I could play a lot of PC games on, which I did a lot. I also had a roommate who would play this game, Heroes of New Earth, which was like a MOBA. It was like a competitor to League of Legends. and he frequently would destroy his computer, his TV, like everything. He was like a screamer and would just destroy our entire room over it. And eventually I got him hooked on a game on this list, which I won't say which one yet, but he would scream so loud that we had the cops called on us multiple times.
Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
So
I also
cool
just
guy.
realized I got my first laptop in 2011. I also got my first car in 2011. 2002 Ford Escape. What was everybody else driving in 2011?
A 1997 Mercury Sable.
Fuck
I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
2005 Pontiac Aztec.
Okay, well, I didn't realize you came from the elite, Sam.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's on that Breaking Bad
6-year-old
shit.
card that was discontinued by the time I got it.
I just got rid of my first car less than 2 years ago. I'm on my second car
Jesus.
ever. Yeah. I drove that 2002 Ford Escape for 11 years. And then it died in a Winn-Dixie parking lot.
Wowzers.
No. Chris?
I was driving the various vehicles in games such as what games here? Mario Kart 7.
Driver.
I definitely was going to say Driver.
I did not play but I didn't play Driver in 2011.
Okay.
I did play Mario Kart. I did play LA Noire that has cars.
Sure, yeah. Saints Row has cars.
Saints Row, I don't remember if I played in 2011 or after.
Shit cars anyway.
I rode horses in Skyrim.
Oh, okay.
And Zelda.
We'll probably talk about Skyrim a lot.
They call those the cars of the past.
Good job, Sam. So are y'all ready for me to... I'm going to read the whole list before we start our cutting process. I would ask if somebody is rocking a double monitor setup, which I assume at least two of you are, if you could be the one that edited the spreadsheet, that would be great. Because
What are you doing on the other monitor? I mean, what are you doing on the one monitor, Tanner?
I'm on a laptop, brother. I'm not even on a desktop.
Yeah, well, okay. Move on.
All right. Y'all ready for me to read these games? Yep. Okay. So we have, and these are listed in alphabetical order: Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Bastion, Batman Arkham City, Battlefield 3, Binding of Isaac, Brink, Bulletstorm, Catherine, Dark Souls, Dead Island, Dead Space 2, Deus Ex Human Revolution, Driver San Francisco. Is this EY? I'm going to assume it's EYE Divine Cybermancy. It's definitely not I. Maybe it's I don't know. Fate of the World, Gears of War 3, Infamous 2, Kirby's Return to Dreamland, LA Noire, La Mulana, Little Big Planet 2, Mario Kart 7, Minecraft, Monday Night Combat, Mortal Kombat, Murder Dog 4, Trial of the Murder Dog, Pokemon Black and White, Portal 2, Rayman Origins, Rage, Resistance 3, Rhythm Heaven Fever, Saints Row the Third, Sanctum, Sonic Generations, Space Kim, Stacking, Super Mario 3D Land, Super Brothers, Sword and Sorcery. Somebody's fucking with the font size. EP, Temple Run, Terraria, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, The Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, The Witcher 2 Assassins of the Kings, To the Moon, Total War Shogun 2, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception, and WWE All-Stars. So I think we need to go through some cuts. We need to cut this list at least in half. I think.
Sure. Whatever you say.
I mean, Sam, do you have a better solution?
No, Tanner, I'm along for the ride.
So I think I'll.
Wait, I have a perfect cut. So
Okay.
there's exactly one game on this list that I have not touched in any way. That I've never played in any capacity. And I think we should just go bottom up. WWE All Stars. What What is that?
That's the like arcade-y version that they did that. I mean, I have no other way to describe it. It's like arcade brawler WWE. It's not like a sim game like the SmackDown versus Raw games.
Yeah, it's
Which are very simulation.
really arcadey style of gameplay. It was a mix of current superstars. It was probably like 40 wrestlers, and like 20 of them were like contemporary WWE wrestlers, and the other 20 were legends.
Yeah, I think the year before Legends of WrestleMania had came out, so this was like all those models, but super yoked up.
And
Yeah, everyone's on the juice in this game.
Yeah. I don't know. Like we've talked about it privately. 2011, probably the weakest year of the decade. I'm fine with
Who's to
WWE.
say? This is research.
I'm fine with WWE All Stars getting cut. I could see that with this panel making the top 10, but if Skylar has never played it, unless
it's a fun game, I have no strong feelings about it.
Yeah,
it was like a fun game that my brother and I rented occasionally.
Okay. Well, WWE All Stars. Wow, I feel like that goes against our entire ethos as a panel to cut the one wrestling game first. I'll do next cut. I'm looking at the games like I've never touched in my life. Because there's a couple on here. I'm gonna say let's cut Sonic Generations.
That was gonna be my first cut too.
I actually did play Sonic. I actually did play Sonic Generations, but it's actively bad. Yeah,
it's not a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than Adventure, but still bad.
It clears the bar of like being better than some of the Sonic games that came before it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was literally the first game I booted up after we recorded last year's episode.
Yeah.
And like I played it for about an hour and I said, I'm good. I don't need to play this ever again. Like there are better Sonic games that have come out since, which is also not saying anything because this is it's just Sonic fans are pretty easy marks sometimes. I don't know if you know this, but they saw a game where they had like classic levels and no creativity behind it other than that, and said, "Wow, this is the best Sonic game in years," and they were right. But it's still bad.
Yeah, it's not a good video game. Like I would rather cut it first. Besides, like these few games I've never have touched. Well, Chris, since I stole your first cut, why don't you give us your first cut? Your new first cut.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I shouldn't go off last year's episode. Because last year we were dealing with a much like better group of games than this, but
yeah,
like if Happy Wheels last year didn't make it, I don't see how Temple Run makes it this year. As far as like that, I know that's a browser game versus a phone game, but Temple Run that sure was fun. But it doesn't need to be here.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Temple Run was like the first mobile game I remember in high school that like everybody was playing. Even people that like you wouldn't think would even have the like the know to play it. Like everybody was playing it on their iPod touches in 2011. But
yeah, everyone had Temple Run on the, if they had a smartphone already in 2011, or if they just used their iPod Touch.
Yeah,
everyone was playing that at the lunch break.
Yeah, that was our like PE game when it was like raining outside, which you wasn't even required to take gym after your freshman year at my school. But yeah, we all took gym. So for 96
and
minutes a
played
day.
Temple Run.
Yeah, for 96 minutes a day we could play Temple Run because at the time
Fucking
my school,
Alabama school system.
Yeah, when
fuck
it's
is going
raining, you
on?
go inside and you play basketball.
no, not at my school. We played Temple Run,
You
or they made you walk to the weight room and you got to sit in the weight room, which didn't make sense because the weight room was a whole separate building.
Damn, they didn't even let you hoop.
Yeah. The no real hoopers here in Alabama.
I was hooping in 2011. That's what I was doing in 2011. I was hooping.
Yeah, I was hooping as well. Can I also say that this, I mean, in terms of like early iOS games, there's another game from this year that is not nominated that I think is better than Temple Run. Jetpack Joyride, like that was also a 2011 early iOS game, sort of iconic, and I think it's a lot better than Temple Run. It like actually has a slight game to it.
I would agree with that.
I'm trying to think as far as early iOS games go. I don't know specific years, but would 2011 been Doodle Jump or did we miss Doodle Jump?
We don't need to find out. None of these games are making it.
I don't.
It was 2009.
Shit. Okay. Okay. That
No,
makes more sense. All right, Sam, give us a cut.
Fate of the World.
Okay. I've never played it, so
There we go.
Has anyone else played it?
Is that Skylar's music?
It is. I'm okay with it getting cut. It is very obtuse. It's like a game about climate change, basically. But it's cool. It's a cool little game. I think it only exists. I think you can only buy it on Steam. I don't think it's been ported or anything like that. But
is that one of the games you added today?
No, it is not. I added it, I think, the first day.
Oh well, fuck. Okay. All right, Skylar. Let's get another cut.
I looked at edit history. Added November 7th, 2022.
2022?
Hell yes.
Fuck! I didn't realize it took us 8 months or 6 months to record the fucking first one.
Oh yeah, it was.
Hey, this is my promise to y'all. We'll have at least one more of these this year. Calling it now.
Terrible promise.
Okay, sick. Now I'm trying to think of like,
fuck.
Should I cut something that's going to piss people off, or just cut something that is bad? I'm going to cut. Okay. I'm going to cut this game Sanctum.
Okay, that was going to be my next cut.
Yeah. So
screw you.
Like, first of all, bad game. Controls bad. Feels like shit. Looks like shit. Like, it is just like not a fun game to. I get like it's a first-person tower defense game if you haven't played it, which is cool. It was like a neat idea, but it just like felt like dog shit. Like nothing about it was good. And the studio that developed that game went on to make a bunch of other shitty games because they made like Goat Simulator and Satisfactory and just a bunch of annoying stuff.
But shitty games that sold a fuck ton.
Yeah. I mean, Satisfactory, I guess, like if you think about what this game was trying to do, like Satisfactory sort of like scratches that same sort of itch because I mean it's not a tower defense game, but sort of like this first person building shit up game. I don't know. This was just like 2011 on the PC side, especially like the Steam sort of indies. It was a lot of games that had like potentially neat ideas and just had no money. And at the time, it was just really difficult to make a good game with no money. So there's a few other games on this list that I think are like potentially interesting, but just like suck so much that they can't get out of their own way.
I nominated Sanctum. I think it's a really cool game. I obviously don't think it plays like shit, but I will also admit to being completely in the bag for anything that is tower defense plus X genre. So seems like we already had two people say.
Yeah, I looked the game up and saw what it was, and I said, I don't need to play this.
Yeah, I watched like a 4-minute video on YouTube, and I was like, were people uploading 4-minute Let's Play episodes in 2012? Because I think that's when the video was from. But yeah, I was sold as it being a bad game.
Well, you were wrong.
I looked and I said, this is not for me.
Yeah. I guess me saying it's a bad game is unfair since I didn't play it, but yeah, definitely not my kind of game.
The whole thing is very cilantro. So that's fair.
I'm going to cut The Legend of Heroes just because I don't think anybody here feels strongly enough. It's definitely not making the top 10. So I think that's another Skylar joint.
Yeah, good game. I mean, I wouldn't say it stands out tremendously among that series, but if you're a fucking weeb and you like good stories and okay games, play it. It's good.
If you're a weeb like Skylar, go for it.
Okay. Skylar, hit us with your... Or no, Chris, hit us with your next.
This is one I'm going off because I didn't touch this game in the lead up because it was added today, but it was one I played at the time. Unless Skylar's really feeling Bulletstorm. I remember even as like a teenager, like it was a fun game to play. Like the gameplay was fun, but even as a teenager, I was just like, Jesus, the humor in this game is just horrific.
Yeah, it was Duke Nukem level humor. To me, I don't like Duke Nukem, but I mean the gameplay was fine, but yeah, like even amongst like the weaker year that 2011 is, like Bulletstorm doesn't really stand out as anything but like a solid like 6 out of 10 game in my opinion. But yeah, it doesn't make this list.
Yeah, someone who is actively using Reddit, so it should have been right up my alley.
All right, Sam, where you at?
Oh man. Can we get rid of Battlefield 3?
There's so many worse games on this list.
Wait, name one.
Monday Night Combat.
All right, Monday Night Combat. I changed my vote.
That was going to be my next cut solely because I don't know how many of you. I don't think this is playable anymore. I don't believe it is. I think Super Monday Night Combat like took its place. Yeah, I mean, again, just like a fun game. There's probably like the second or third game I ever played on PC, but yeah, it's like totally standard little arena shooter thing.
You can still buy it on Steam.
Regular,
it's just a bunch of people saying, "I miss this game" in their reviews.
Yeah. I was about to say, I think the servers are shut down.
You can pay $5 to find out.
Fuck, I should have done that, but alas. All right, Skylar, hit us with another cut.
Okay, now we really have gotten rid of like the absolute, like we can all agree these games are shit, and we're gonna have to fight about everything. So, I'm gonna cut Super Brothers. I think that this game at the time was sort of part of the early wave of like atmospheric sort of indie puzzle games. It was really stylish, has these like pixel arts. I mean, this game was very successful critically and commercially. I think it got a remaster / reboot at some point, but it sold like over 1 million copies. Like this was a massive hit. It even got a Switch port. And it's just sort of like a really lame, obtuse game with like a story that's, ostensibly has metaphors and shit. I don't know. I think that this sort of humble indie bundle era, this was part of one of the first 5. So I view those as like really like iconic fucking indie titles.
Yeah.
This was one that I always felt was pretty overrated.
I agree with that. Like cool enough look and soundtrack at the time, but really like indie games in the past decade plus have just kind of taken what that game did and shat on it.
Yeah, it did it way better. And also we're not judging based off of like, just for the listeners, not judging based off like commercial success or anything. So, and with that, I'm gonna cut another shitty game. Let's cut Brink. I think at the time I was watching the YouTube group known as The Creatures, and they played this game, and I remember watching that. I was like, "Oh, that sucks." And then I think my aunt got it for me for like Christmas or something, and then I played it, and I was like, "Oh, this game sucks." So, Brink.
I think so. I don't know if it would surprise you to know that not only have I played this game recently, I still play it semi regularly with other people. I think it's really cool that the movement in it, like the pace is really sick. Obviously, I am fine with it being cut because it was completely DOA. I don't know if anyone played it at launch, but basically the servers didn't work at all. So like you couldn't get into games. Every single game was laggy. It sucked shit. They fixed it like 6 months later, and by then the game was entirely dead. So stuff like that happened back in the day. Like you would just buy a multiplayer game and then it just didn't work, and then everyone would drop off and you could just never play it. So yeah, at least now, when that happens, everyone slams it and also make sure that there's no women or black people in the game too. So you get like all of that criticism all at once, and you know exactly what to play.
Yeah, Tribes Ascend. All right, Chris, where are we cutting?
I'm feeling Kirby's Return to Dreamland.
Ooh,
Though Skylar would know because
Skylar was playing
did
it.
Did you 100% it today?
I did 100% it today. I did not do
Was
EX mode. I think it's like, I mean, it's a Kirby mainline game. I think it checks all the boxes for like if those are your thing. Personally, I've never been a huge. I mean, Kirby the man that we know and love. We all love him or
Mhm.
her. We love Kirby, but I can't say that his mainline games are my favorite thing. I did a deep dive into like what Kirby fans think about this game. I think most people like the powers, like the story, like the music and levels, which I think are all cool, but it's just not that fun of a game.
Yeah, and
I am a little bit of a Kirby head. This is kind of, I haven't played a lot of the games that have come out since in the mainline series, but I like with Kirby, I was always more about either playing the classic games from like NES through Super Nintendo and the Game Boy games, and also like the spin-offs like Canvas Curse and Epic Yarn.
yeah,
And I just remember this being like a pretty decent Kirby game, but nothing more.
yeah, it's no Kirby and the Amazing Mirror for sure. The actual best Kirby game.
Sure.
And that's a good game.
So, yeah, some would say a great game. Sam, where are we going?
You know what? Now we can do Battlefield 3.
Go for it. Don't let Skylar bully you out of not picking it.
I'm not gonna bully. I think that like does anyone have any affection for the Battlefield games at all?
I've
do,
never
but
been
not,
a battle. I was
not
always
great.
more of a Call of Duty head when Call of Duty or Halo when playing shooters.
My Battlefield fandom didn't really come about till probably like the PS4 launch, so a couple years later. And like I think I've bought every Battlefield since. And like I do have a weird affection for those games, but Battlefield 3 like doesn't register even on my radar a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this is clearly it's post prime for me because Battlefield 2 It's more of the peak when it was a little bit more of a PC only title. But Battlefield 3 is sort of like in retrospect is maybe the last one that still feels like really distinct. And I think that that series has become more and more just like pretty much the same as Call of Duty. As it went on.
Oh yeah. Now like there's like no difference in between. In my eyes, there's really no discernible difference. I still do have a weird affection for those games, especially like I guess it was Battlefield 4 the one that came out with the PS4 launch. Battlefield
There's
Hardline,
also
maybe
Battlefield 1, which is not which is the World War one.
Yeah, it's just I mean I again like those were I was playing in multiplayer with my high school friends a lot in high school, but again, Battlefield 3 doesn't do anything for me. All right, Skylar, back to you. These first cuts are good, but now I'm looking at these games. I'm like, did 2011 have some heat? Because there's a lot of games on here that I like a good bit now.
I feel like maybe I was a little attacked by that Battlefield pick, so I'm looking to see what I can do to hurt someone. And here's the deal: we've talked a lot about like indie games that were cool and fun and really acclaimed and cool for their time, but maybe in retrospect, were like, yeah, they were fine. They were cool at the time. I mean, I think next year, I was just taking a peek at next year, and I think like Hotline Miami might be a good example of that, of like a cool at the time game that felt mind blowing, and then in retrospect, maybe a little quaint. I truly feel that way about Bastion. I mean, I think that game is like, for some people, is like a classic. Because of like the narration gimmick and the music and the art is cool, but I just don't think that it holds up as a really interesting game. I think that pretty much everything Supergiant worked on after this, even the stuff that was like sort of failed, like Transistor or Pyre in particular, like I think those games are more interesting, and I find myself like wanting to come back to those more than come back to Bastion.
Yeah, I completely. I didn't play Bastion for the first time till like, pretty sure it was during COVID, like initial lockdown, and like I remember at the time I was like, this is a cool game, but it definitely seems like the like prototype for what Supergiant becomes. I mean, I think in context of 2011, I think it's like pretty good. I don't think it would make my personal top 10. I mean, it would be at the bottom if it did. But yeah, I'm completely fine with that cut.
Yeah, my only issue with cutting it is that I don't love the game, but I don't know if I love 10 games from 2011.
Oh,
from 2011. So it's like we're cutting it, but I almost feel confident I'm not going to find 9 games that I'm like, oh yeah, that's a lot better than Bastion here. But I also don't have like such great affinity that I'm going to fight it too hard. Pyre stinks though. Pyre's not good.
It is like one
it is very
step
cool.
above Bastion to me.
Pyre actually had fun gameplay and cool ideas. It just did not. Something about it just didn't click. I respect that it was like a giant swing though to make like basically a sports game.
Yeah. I love the idea. I just wish I want highlights. I want to go full tilt. No half measures. No. Anyway, it's not that year. We'll get to it. Who's next?
Me. I'm looking at what I want to cut on here next. I'm looking at this list, and I'm judging it on how much time I spent with it or have seen of it. I think we cut Total War, Shogun 2.
Sure.
I mean, I will say that this would be the first game that would have actually made my top 10. So understand if people haven't played it. I think it is the best Total War game overall. it's just really polished. The atmosphere is really cool. I mean, also just weeb shit, but like it just I think is the tightest, and overall you can still go back to it and it doesn't feel dated. Really, it still feels super modern. You can pick up and play it and really enjoy it. So I think it would hang. I mean, I think there's games here that are dog shit. They're still on this list. So I feel like we should be cutting the dog shit games instead of like cool games that we may have not played a lot.
That's fair. I don't think Total War would make anybody else's top 10. If I had to wager that bet. And I do think there are, looking at this list, at least 8 we probably come to a consensus on. And I'm not willing to for my swings to be for Total War.
All right. That's fine.
All right, Chris.
Dead Island. Get it
Oh
out of here.
yeah.
Wow, there we
Come on.
go.
Dead Island sucks.
Yeah, that game fucking blows.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
the
were
latter whole
when-
consensus was not in like into the conversation. Just 3 people shouting, "Yep, it blows."
when
Moving
Skylar
on.
said there's games that are actively dog shit on this list still, I looked dead at Dead Island in the eyes.
Yeah. Especially just alphabetically what it's between. Like, it just so fucking stands out.
It's also just like that game is so like it's dog shit in so many different ways because it looks horrible. It feels really bad. The
Mhm.
setting is like sort of cool, but it can't decide if it wants to be like really serious or really silly.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, just a complete misfire in every way, and I can't believe that it got like sequels and just reboots and
Yeah,
shit.
it's incredible. It's baffling.
Yeah. And the fact that, like, because what, Dead Island 2 came out, what, just like
Last year.
last year, 2 years ago? Yeah, it's. I don't know. I remember when the initial trailer came out for Dead Island, it almost seemed like it was trying to like sad bait you into playing it. Because, like, if I'm not mistaken, it's the trailer is the one where like the daughter dies or is like bit by a zombie or some shit.
Yeah,
And it's just like, okay.
and the
Like,
game was like nothing like that.
yeah, and the game is not like that at all. I remember watching that, when I'm 15. I'm like that doesn't look good, and it's not good. Yeah, it is actually kind of baffling it made it this far, but all
Yeah,
right.
Dead Island 2 doesn't even take place on a fucking island. It's set in Los Angeles. So what is the point of the game?
You're
Well,
right
I've heard-
on 2. You can't run out of islands that fast.
Yeah, I mean, just go back to the same island, even at that point,
Also, like the Dead Island, like the same team basically started working on Dying Light, which is like I don't think that the Dying Light games are good, but they
It's
are
better than Dead Island.
there's so much more clarity in the vision of what a Dying Light game is than it was for Dead Island.
Yeah, it's like somebody wrote on a whiteboard, what if there were zombies on an island? And then everybody was like, we have to fucking make that game. That's Dead Island for sure. And then it's not good. All right, Sam.
All right, I'm gonna Jenga this one a little bit, but how are we feeling about Resistance 3? No takers on that, so we're gonna cut it.
Yeah, I'm not.
I never cared for the Resistance games.
Yeah,
You know what?
I think
They don't make them like this anymore. This is my dad's game. Anything that's just a first-person shooter, single player, about 10 hours. That's what he lived on for years.
Are you
And
saying
they
they
just
don't
stopped doing that?
they don't make bad games that are 10 hours anymore?
Exactly.
Yeah, they make bad games that are 50 hours.
50 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess you're right. All right.
it's so funny that Insomniac was like made so many good games and they just took like a decade off to make like the most banal bullshit shooters.
Yeah.
All right. Skylar, back to you.
Oh, sick.
I think we're gonna do at least two more rounds of cuts, and then we're gonna get to a 30, and then we'll see where we're feeling after the third.
Yeah. I want to cut straight up bad games. So I would say that this is not necessarily bad. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna own the narrative. I'm gonna cut Rage.
Oh, we're not partying hard.
Rage is a fun game. Cool shit. Insane ending. Lots of weird choices made in it. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. I will maybe off mic. I'll tell some Rage stories, but yeah.
What is the end of Rage?
See, so you remember like the end of Halo 2, right?
Yeah.
It's basically like that, but there was just no sequel.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
Okay.
It's basically just like the game just like ends mid nothing. It's actually, I mean, also the final id game under John Carmack. Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Wow, we are playing fast and loose with the term fun fact. Let's see where I'm at. I'm thinking we cut Catherine.
No.
Any other takers?
There's bad games. Pick a bad game. Catherine is good. Pick a bad game.
I'm picking a game that is not going to have support outside of you. Also, just
but you know Catherine looks cool. Like you've looked at Catherine.
No, I played Catherine, and I don't think it makes my top 10 for the year. And if we were also like looking at developers and what they did after, like Atlas has done so many better things post Catherine.
Yes, Tanner, I don't care what they did after the fact. I don't care what they inspired, but you know what? Take care of the trash. That's what I say.
Well, I'm just using the Supergiant Bastion argument.
Or his bullshit when he did it too.
I get that, but I do think that Catherine, because the gameplay has not really been duplicated.
Yeah, that was gonna be. I mean,
if two are gonna fight for it on the top,
the branching story too, like that. Like, if you think about it,
Chris, are you raising your hand?
Yeah, I think I'm keeping Catherine for now.
All right. Hey, okay, I'm completely fine with that. Then let's cut EYE Divine Cybermancy.
See, that would also be on my top 10, but I'm okay with cutting it because it's more of like. Yeah, I did add it today because I forgot it came out this year. It's tight though.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's like if you ever play like it's very janky. It's sort of like an immersive sim, but you like most of this immersive elements are just like, how do I make my gun shoot 5,000 times per second? It's really tight. There's a lot of games out now that are not necessarily gameplay similar wise, but have similar vibes. Like Ultra Kill or like maybe even Cruelty Squad a little bit. And if you like those, you should definitely check it out because it's tight.
Okay, cool. Sam also has just kept Catherine cut, so I guess never mind. He just didn't add it alphabetically.
Well, it's Google Sheets. Don't blame me. Space Chem. A game for people who want to tell you they're smart.
Yeah, definitely Chris's turn, but go off.
Okay, I already did it. So we're keeping the flow going.
Mortal Kombat.
That would have been my other one. So this is perfect.
Well, this is the best Mortal Kombat game. So just think about what you're doing.
I don't know if it's the best, but it's definitely the best one since 2011.
I don't care about Mortal Kombat.
And that's
hell yeah.
That's fair.
The movie rocks, but everything else sucks.
I don't know if that movie rocks.
Oh no, it does.
The new one?
Not the new one. The new one.
Not the new one.
Oh, okay.
We're not dumbasses.
Okay, I thought we were talking the new one.
I have
New
so
one-
many problems with the new one. I could be here all night.
The new one sucks. The new one
I'm
sucks.
so mad.
Yeah, the new one's not good.
You don't need to make a MMA fighter into this universe. Also, the whole let's keep it moving.
Let's see. We're down to third. What 30?
31
How are we down to 31?
or 30.
Okay, let's do one more round of cuts, and that will be half the game's cut, and then we'll see where we're at. So, Skylar, take it away.
I feel personally attacked by the last two because I actually think Space Game is really cool. I'm also too stupid to play it long, to beat it, but I think it is tight. So I need to go on the offensive a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and take out Mario Kart 7. Here's the thing. Mario Kart 7, fun game. It's not really as innovative. Like, it didn't bring as much to the table as Mario Kart Wii, and Mario Kart 8 is obviously more of like the super supported for a long time, super extensive game with tons of content. And it's not even as tight as like Mario Kart DS, which had like the online play and shit like that. So outside of like has a good track selection, I'm not sure why it would hang here. Are we really gonna like put a frankly C tier Mario Kart game in the top 10 just because Mario Kart is fun?
Yeah, this is one of my least favorite Mario Karts, and which means
Man.
it's still pretty good. But yeah, it like as far as handheld goes, I'm taking Mario Kart DS over it any day.
I would also take Mario Kart DS over it, but I would say 7 is probably the fourth best Mario Kart. It'd go 8, Double Dash, DS, then 7. But I probably played 7 the second most. So I have a lot of fond memories about 7. But I do agree it like just didn't have the support that like an 8 does. And there was really no innovative gimmick. If you want to count the 3D stuff, I guess. But like, who cares? So
yeah, it's
never
a
had
fun
3DS.
game, but it doesn't hang.
You didn't have a 3DS?
No.
Damn.
I just had the big gray brick of the original.
Huh.
Wasn't about this newfangled technology.
Interesting.
Anyway, who's up next?
It's me. I'm gonna say let's get rid of To the Moon. Awesome.
Yeah,
Had a lot of fight there.
We did the same thing with like multiple other indie games. This is just like another example of that. The gameplay sucks ass.
Pretty sure Skylar nominated that game, by the way.
I think if you had asked me in 2011, this may have been my game of the year. Because I was fucking stupid.
There's some
Incredible.
games in after like 2012 where like, oh, these indie games are supposed to be about like emotional journeys or whatnot. Like they rip. They do what they're supposed to do.
No, Obama.
They haven't
era
figured it out
gaming
quite yet.
Hit different.
Hit different.
Yeah, Obama made great games. All right, Chris.
How are we feeling about stacking? That was another added today.
That was gonna be I was between that and To the Moon as my cut, so I'm fine with it leaving.
Yeah, more of just like an interesting oddity because this was, I think, the first Double Fine game after like the big Kickstarter and shit, right?
Yeah.
Do I have my
Yeah.
Which is sort of like an interesting time in indie history, but obviously after this they went on to do a lot more. I guess actually Costume Quest was before stacking. That was their first as a
Also a better
more
game.
indie. Yeah.
All right, Sam.
All right, this is just a question. I'm not a big Pokemon head.
Fuck off.
Is Black and White like one of the good ones?
Gen 5 has in recent years been reevaluated to be one of the good ones. So Gen 5 did something interesting where you could
All
not.
right. Does anyone that isn't Tanner have an opinion here?
Well, I know.
Let Tanner cook real quick.
Okay.
So Gen 5 did a thing where, first of all, it was on the DS, which was already a weird thing because the 3DS was out. But with Black and White, they didn't let you catch any prior generation Pokemon until you got all 8 gym badges and beat the Elite Four and the champion, until you got to the post game. So you were forced to have all new Pokemon that you had never seen or used before on your team to beat the main game. And no other Pokemon game has done that since. And like no Pokemon game besides Gen 1 ever did that. So I think that in itself is really cool. And also like the story beats of Black and White hold up very well. It is like, I don't think Black and White Gen 5 is not really anybody's favorite unless Gen 5 was your first gen, but Gen 5 does hold up extremely well, especially comparing it to, what comes after it.
Okay.
I'm also going to jump in and say that I think this generation is really good. This was like one of the first times that I remember feeling like, oh yeah, Pokemon fans are just absolute freaks, because the fact that you couldn't get like the old Pokemon meant basically this generation was super hated.
It's very contentious when it came out.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it would be in my top 10 of the year, but I do think it's a good Pokemon game for what that's worth. So if you like Pokemon games, yeah.
I personally would have it in my top 10.
As a very casual Pokemon player, this I have fonder opinions of Black and White than most generations that came after.
All right.
Because I did like it did in fact do interesting things.
Yep.
It's very borderline top 10 for me, so I'm okay with keeping it around. Actually, I just did a count.
Okay. Gotcha. Gears of War 3. Is that one that went on today? Nope. That was years ago.
No, but I mean, I like the Gears series in general. Gears 3 is not my favorite, so I would be fine with Gears 3 getting cut, but I do think Gears of War 3 is a good game.
Anyone else want to keep it around?
Nope.
Cut it.
Smell you later.
All right, so we're down to 26 games. And I am going to read off what we have next, and we can decide if we think we should do another round of cuts or if we should start keeping things or what we're doing. So the games we have left, we have Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Batman Arkham City, Binding of Isaac, Catherine, Dark Souls, Dead Space 2, Deus Ex Human Revolution, Driver San Francisco, Infamous 2, LA Noire, La Mulana, Little Big Planet 2, Minecraft, Murder Dog 4, Trial of the Murder Dog, Pokemon Black and White, Portal 2, Rayman Origins, Rhythm Heaven Fever, Saints Row the Third, Super Mario 3D Land, Terraria, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, The Witcher 2 Assassins of the Kings, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception. Actually, we have 30 games left. I don't know why I thought we had 26.
The numbers are wrong.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah, you're right. We have 26 games. So what do y'all think? You think we should do another round of cuts? Do we think we should start?
Let's lock in some top ones.
Okay.
Can we say like maybe one per person that would be
like a lock
in their top 3?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Skylar, you wanna go off first?
Man, should I be strategic here? No, I'm just gonna go for the heart. Dark Souls is gonna be up there.
Yeah,
There you go.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, do we even need to
Put it at 1. Is that what you're saying?
like? Does that even need to count as someone's like choice? 'Cause is there any argument from this crew against Dark Souls?
I mean, I've never been a big
Tanner.
Souls fan. That being said, I understand that I'm vastly outnumbered here. And I do understand that Dark Souls is a good game. Like, I have played Dark Souls. I liked Dark Souls. It's just not for me. Like, I can't wrap my head around a game like that. But that's an obvious lock on this list. Fuck. What would be in my top 3? I mean, it's so weird because like I didn't know any of you during this time, so like I don't know like where your hearts truly lie. Because there's a couple that I think on this list that are like, yeah, that will definitely make the top 10, but I'm not sure. So I want to say Super Mario 3D Land. I think it is one of the best Mario titles. Period. Full stop. I think it innovated in a way for handheld Mario. Well, at the time of handheld Mario, that like, I mean, obviously you have like Odyssey and stuff like on the Switch, but like that's in a league of its own. But I remember playing Super Mario 3D Land and just going like, oh, this game like fucking rocks. So I would say probably Super Mario 3D Land for me. No idea where y'all land on that.
How's everyone else feeling?
I mean, it's a 2D Mario game, so it's good. Like,
Yeah.
I almost feel the same way I do about Mario Kart 7. I mean, I think this is better than Mario Kart 7, but I just feel the same way where it's just like, yeah, this is a really good game and a good series, but it would not be in my top 10. Is what I would say.
Chris?
I mean, we're not in stuff for the top 10 right now, right?
This isn't locking into the top 10.
These are soft, like as a collective
soft
group.
locks.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't have to do anything but just lock them in. No combating or anything.
I mean,
okay.
Unless
Nope.
vehemently against a game, I would say not.
No pushback on these. Heard.
All right, Chris, where are you at?
Mine is going to be Rayman Origins.
Great choice. Phenomenal game.
All right. The Witcher 2, Assassins of the Kings?
It's actually just Assassins of Kings. I'm not sure why.
Assassins of Kings.
Let's change it.
Okay, Scott, you can't change it because I don't know what formatting you do, but it fucking ugly.
Skylar's on a fucking GameSpot list and copying and pasting.
He's copying over
directly from the fucking 13-year-old listicle.
So yeah, you're gonna want to double click on it, and then you want to Control Alt V, and that's gonna give you some good formatting instead of what the hell you're doing.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna fix some stuff real quick.
Just give Skylar a break. Skylar rarely uses computers. We've established.
Oh, piece of shit.
Because this is not a visual podcast, Skylar is bolding, underlining, making a really big font of the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword.
Yeah, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword's currently 27 font when the rest of the doc is 10.
Just getting our priorities straight here.
Yeah, I gotta respect Groose.
You don't want to wrap that. No.
Oh fuck.
Honestly, I don't like all this going around in circle shit because I want to be more combative. The thing is, if we're talking about just like giving a legacy Nintendo title like a spot in the top 10 because it's like a pretty decent iteration of it, like I'm gonna take Skyward Sword over fucking Mario any day.
I don't care if a Nintendo game is in the top 10 at all. I mean, to be completely honest, but 3D Land based off of 2011 would be easy top 5 for me.
We'll get to that.
How many games got in your top 5?
Easy top 5.
Okay.
So what do we want to do now? Do we want to cut? Do we want to make everything 27 size font? I mean, what's
For the love of God.
what's the next play?
Can we each cut like a game that we don't think is the worst on the list, but we just want to cut something controversial and argue about it?
Sure, we can
Have
we
a
can start having
segment.
some conversations. Let's start the conversation.
Yeah,
let's have a dialogue.
Yeah. All right, yeah. Hour into the podcast, let's start talking.
Okay.
Let's talk turkey, brother.
I am going to move to cut Batman Arkham City.
Allowed.
Yeah. Sick.
Sure. Yeah. It's
All right,
very competitive there, Skylar.
Yeah.
Well done. You
Yeah.
fucking failed the first assignment here.
Not as good as Arkham Asylum, not as good
True.
as Arkham Knight.
Both
yeah.
correct statements.
Yeah. Just
It's just
fine
a
game.
weird in between that is
Yeah.
ruined by the context of, hey, they do the open world better, and then they do the smaller things better in two
Well,
different games surrounding it.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's a lot of people who are like really young who have a lot of nostalgia for the games here that now are like a lot of these games are just canonized as classics and they aren't that good. So I feel like it's good to take them down a peg.
I agree. So I'm going to do something a little different than what Skylar just did. And I'm going to be comparing two games, and I kind of want the room's feel on this. Is there a world where both Minecraft and Terraria make this top 10?
I'm gonna say no. I think you're right. I think we should cut Minecraft.
Okay.
Right.
Here was going to be my next question. Are we hold on. First of all, it's not Skylar's cut, Sam, so let's fucking hold the phone. Are we judging what these games were in 2011? Because I mean, both these games still receive updates. So are we judging them based off of their 2011 versions, or are we thinking about the game as a whole?
I think it's the game. I think it's the game as a whole with a slight nod towards the fact that like Minecraft did not have like a story mode for a very long time. Now, obviously, like it was a platform that became like, you know, the space for all the mods are big and all shit like that. Which I think is worth like recognizing while also focusing on like as a 2011 game, how did we feel about it in 2011? Yeah.
You have to at least somewhat reconcile what the game was and not what it is today. Just because.
Yeah. Because as somebody that played both of these games in 2011, I had more fun in 2011 with Terraria than I did Minecraft. But as the years go on, I like Minecraft more than Terraria. But if we are wanting to judge this based off what kind of games these were in 2011, I personally would give the nod to Terraria over Minecraft. But I guess it just kind of depends what else, because in 2010 we didn't really have this, but these both are still games that receive very regular updates, and they're completely different games today than they were in 2011. And what, this is the year it went 1.0, and it was at the end of the year. And then Terraria, I guess, is early access in 2011 still for most of the year. But I mean, just so it's weird. Like, this is the first thing of like, oh, these games are still very much still alive. arguably both more popular today than they were in 2011. So I guess it's just how do we want to contextualize two games like that? I am moving to cut one. It's just, I guess it depends what what we want more on the list.
Now let's cut Minecraft.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I think is worthy of noting is that technically, I mean, I played most Minecraft before 2011. I know that it was officially quote unquote released in 2011, but it doesn't it feels much more like a 2009, 2010 game to me.
Mm-hmm.
See, I would agree. I mean, Minecraft to me is like late 2010, early 2011 game to me. And then I got into it again like after I graduated high school in like 2014, 2015. And then I got to it again during COVID. So like it's always just been kind of there, but just based off of 2011, I liked and enjoyed Terraria way more. Okay.
All right, there we go.
There's Minecraft.
Officially cut.
Do we want to soft lock Terraria then?
Nope. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a choice, I would say neither of those.
Yeah,
for
sure.
I just knew there was no way both were making the list.
Yeah, there wasn't. It was good to have that conversation.
But the freaks about those games are freaks, though. So it's like all they would have taken is one freak for each of those games, and they would have made the top 10.
But they're not here. They're not here.
Not on this call. Chris, do whatever gimmick you want to do.
Are there any big Deus Ex fans in the chat?
Not me. I actively dislike those games.
Which ones have you played?
This one.
Okay. So you haven't played the good ones?
Yeah, you played Deus Ex 2000.
No.
It's sick.
Yeah. Also Invisible War. Is sick.
I've never played Invisible War, but I can at least Deus Ex, the original, extremely sick game.
Yeah. I do think that this game is fine. But in terms of immersive sims, it's pre 2017, baby. That's the one.
All right, Sam.
It's just like the games I want to get rid of. I know there's going to be too much pushback on. And that annoys me. Because I'm between Elder Scrolls and Saints Row.
Cut them both.
Okay, perfect.
I would get rid of Skyrim before Saints Row.
Probably cut them both.
Pretty bad. But
I don't know. I love Saints Row. I play like still like one of my most fond memories of gaming during this early 2010s period was playing co-op Saints Row the Third. Like I've had a fucking blast with that game.
I mean, if we want to keep Saints Row around, I don't have an objection. But hey, at least Skyrim going down.
Skyrim, the game that at one point we were like, oh, maybe that's it. At least it seemed like that's what wasn't being implied.
Who said that?
Yeah, wait, who are you talking about? People in this call were saying that?
Yeah, I thought it was you, Tanner.
I have no strong feelings towards Skyrim.
Well, there you go. It's outie anyway.
I'm definitely more of an Oblivion boy.
Who isn't?
Yeah, that's the good jank.
Okay. What?
We have 18 games left, so we gotta get 8 of these ones out of here.
Should we just go down the list and talk about them a little bit?
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Yeah, that's probably a good plan from this point. So let's start with Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Skylar.
Yes. Okay. So I'll cook here. This game is not officially translated. It's not officially localized. I would say most Ace Attorney games would consider this like easily top 3 in the series. Most people, I would say, top 1 or 2. It's really good if you like these games. And you have not played this for whatever reason. There is a fan English patch, and it's really worth a playthrough. Because the story is really, really good.
Well, we only play American games on here, so you can go ahead and cut that, Sam.
I'm not gonna fight for it.
Smell you later.
Up next, Binding of Isaac. Absolutely sticks on this list.
Yeah, this is a top 10.
I mean, Binding of Isaac. I mean, we can talk about it now, but I think it's a pretty easy lock for this list.
Yeah, lock it in, or at least
Lock
keep
it
it
in.
Yeah, a soft lock. Yellow is soft lock. Red is cut.
Yeah. Can we skip, since we've talked about Catherine, but there's some games we haven't talked about? Can we skip on down to the next game on the list?
Sure. Dead Space 2.
Not as good as Dead Space 1. That is a issue. I think like a lot of people consider this like the Aliens to Dead Space's Alien. But I actually think that the like giving the main character like a voice and has all this like too spooky bullshit, and the story like tries to be deeper. Like I just played through it for the first time, and it did not work for me. And the first Dead Space, even the non-remake version, I think generally holds up and feels unique and different. And this just felt like 5 steps in the wrong direction from that. And even though I still had a good time playing it, and I think there were some moments in it that I really enjoyed, I always feel like I should penalize it for that.
Yeah, I mean, I have no strong feelings either way about Dead Space 2. I honestly thought that would be a game that would have a good amount of support amongst this group. But I'm totally fine with it getting cut.
It's really
Get
really
it
scary
out
when
of
you
here.
stab the eye. That's scary.
Okay. Well, now Chris is talking me into it.
No, it doesn't need to be talked into.
Driver San Francisco.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that game's sick.
Soft lock it.
Yeah, that's a top thing. For sure.
So is that what we're doing right now? Are we just saying soft lock or cut?
So that's kind of what we're doing. We haven't gotten to anything that we're like deeply separated on. So
Yeah.
which us too.
Good game.
Hot takes. Anyone have any strong feelings from?
Oh no, it can totally get cut. I was just saying, it's a fine game.
Wow, we're really speed running this one.
I confused this in my head with Prototype until literally today, when I was just like, oh yeah.
Oh wait,
Also, I forget that it's set in New Orleans, which is pretty cool.
I've been to New Orleans.
I think it's a neat one of these games, but also I don't know if that's top 10.
Yeah, weirdly enough, after talking about how weak this year was, I think you have to be a little more than a neat game to make this list.
Yeah, Infamous is another one of those series that like I enjoyed playing them a lot, but like I guess I never played Second Son. But like,
well, that's the best one.
But at least Infamous compared to Infamous 2, it was just kind of like, yeah, this is like bigger and like more established. They know but it just doesn't have the same like hook that Infamous had the first time when I played it.
Very fair. Very fair. Up next, L.A. Noire.
I would like to see this stick around.
I would also like to see LA Noire stick around.
I do think the game is very cool. I don't know if it would make my top 10, but I do appreciate it, and I would not be mad at it making a top 10. So yeah, I definitely think it's a soft lock at the very least.
Okay. La Mulana.
There's a lot of controversy around this even being on this list. And by that, I'm still not entirely sure it came out in 2011. That's all I have to say about it.
I forget how we decided it came out in 2011.
This is when the remake remaster came out for WiiWare, and that
actually, yeah,
No, that came out in 2012.
No, it came out in Windows for Windows in 2012. It came out for the Wii in Japan in 2011, the remake, which is if it is the first time that the remake launched anywhere. So I think it's appropriate to keep it in 2011. Now, the only way that I'll say maybe we should push it to 2012 is, are people going to cut it right now? Because if so, I'll just go ahead and move it to 2012.
Well, here's my thing.
If we were 2012, I think it will get cut way quicker than
it gets cut. Yes, it gets cut way quicker in 2012.
Okay,
so if you have an argument for it,
this is a top 3 for me. So I would like to see it stick around.
Yeah, I have like been putting people onto La Mulana since like we started talking about it and it got brought up.
Okay.
I'm very bad at it, but
okay. Little Big Planet 2. So somebody that has a better memory than me, all the Little Big Planets kind of mushed together in my head. I could not tell you the difference between Little Big Planet 2 versus 1 versus 3.
I think this is the best of those 3 because the third one just was a little too overstuffed, and this one was like a little more refined. But also, like, those games are really charming. But I don't have a particular affinity for them.
I would like to keep it around.
Yeah, I mean, I really like those games. I just could not tell you, which I don't even think is necessarily a huge. Well, maybe it is. I just can't like differentiate them in my head. It's like Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2. Like I can't in my head. That's one big game. That's all 3 Little Big Planets to me.
Yeah, I think Skylar kind of nailed it with like once we get to 3, we're maybe doing a little too much there.
3 is the PS4 launch game, right?
Yes.
Or launch window-ish title at least. There's not
yeah.
4 Little Big Planets, are there? There's
no.
only 3. Okay.
Well,
so this was Little Big Planet. Yeah, because I think that was still released on PS3 as well as PS4. So probably launch window.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. And then they made Dreams. Okay. I had to orient myself. Yeah, I'd be okay with this getting a soft lock for now.
Soft lock. Murdog 4, Trial of the Murdog.
Soft fucking lock, baby.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I remembered to put this on the list 'cause this game fucking rocks.
Yeah, extremely sick game. that
We'll
two
talk
of
about
us
more.
played for the first time today.
We already talked about Pokemon. Do we want to move right to Portal?
Well, okay, let me ask you this. Since we're coloring things right now, and this also goes for Catherine, does Catherine and Pokemon just get a soft lock right now? Okay, it feels weird those being the 2 games that don't get a color.
Yeah, we can color them in for now.
Okay.
All right. Portal 2.
I mean, I think this is like in a world without Dark Souls, probably a number 1 contender. I mean, for me, it is a number 1 contender, but just talking amongst this group, I don't think anything is getting ahead of Dark Souls. I'd be shocked, but I think Portal 2 is a fucking phenomenal game.
I think it's okay.
That still plays well today.
I almost feel the same way that I do about Dead Space 2, where I want to penalize it because I think that it moved in a direction that I did not enjoy after the first game, and I have a lot of affinity for the first game.
Portal 1 is a perfect experience.
Yeah. And also, like, this is not Valve's fault, but if you were around and in gaming culture that time, it's hard to overstate how omnipresent like Portal was, and the humor and like the way that it approached like storytelling like was so big that Portal 2 almost felt like a step back because it tried to flesh out more, and it had like, you know, it was just like bigger but not necessarily better. The one thing that I will defend is I think the co-op is super fucking sick.
The co-op is so sick.
And that's how I'm coming to this, because I've only ever played Portal 2 co-op. I've never played this game.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I've only ever played Portal 2 with somebody else.
So you have no idea about the story of the game, or it's a completely different fucking campaign.
Well,
listen, I think we should.
So how do I trust your opinion on anything? Exactly.
Well, I'm talking my experience of the game. There was shit on here. One person.
Then play it the right way if you're a number 1 contender. Play it all the ways.
Yeah, a number 1 contender. You haven't even played the base fucking game.
Listen, don't need to.
You
so
also
that was a red? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, Portal 3 is a number 1 contender for me because I played the same amount of it as you have Portal 2.
I've seen Portal 2. Like, people play it. I never played solo. I'm too dumb to play a puzzle game solo. This is established canon. Rhythm Heaven Fever.
Not everyone at once.
Okay, I honestly,
fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
I had to click. I was like, oh, I definitely just disconnected.
I don't really know what to say about it other than like, yeah, it's tight.
Yeah,
yeah.
Rhythm Heaven, always charming games.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say this is probably like the most iconic one of those, right? Like, I feel like a lot of the songs and stuff, moments from this game are probably the ones I see the most when people are Rhythm Heaven posting.
I would agree with that. This came out on the Wii U too?
There was no Wii U 2.
Yeah, that's called the Switch.
Okay, fucker. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, wait, where did we land on this? I don't know if I really comprehended. Was that...
We all said it was good. What do you think?
Okay. Saints Row the Third.
I would have it in my personal top 10. But if nobody else feels that way, I'm fine with it getting cut. Me personally would have it in my top 10. But it sounds like I'm on a dead island with that one.
Huh.
How do you feel about the other Saints Row games?
I played a little bit of 2, and Saints Row 2 to me is trying too hard to be GTA, where Saints Row the Third I think kind of leaned into the goofy, and it's before it got over the top goofy with like the superhero shit they did in 4. So I mean, just compared to the other ones I've played, I like the Saints Row the Third the most because I think it hit right in the middle. I don't think some of the humor ages super well, but 16-year-old Tanner really fucking enjoyed this game.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the same way that you do, but about Saints Row 2. Because Saints Row 1, if you've never played it, is very much, I mean, is basically a GTA clone
yeah.
with a little bit of style. And Saints Row 2, I think, adds some of the more silliness, like it gives it more of an identity. And Saints Row the Third is where it just got a little too silly for me. But
And see, that probably comes down to like how old we were when we played this game too.
yeah, that's
So
true.
that's completely fair. I completely understand that.
I
'Cause
played this game for the first time in 2023. Let me tell you,
What'd you think?
I think
Loved
it's
it?
stupid.
Okay, well. Okay.
Okay, so we're just
but
blocking everything.
The intro sequence, that's a banger.
Oh, big Kanye guy?
Yeah, I was gonna say you love his politics, hate his music, right?
Oh man.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Get Sam on the
Terraria.
Breakfast Club.
Jesus.
That's called a callback for the folks in the Tannery podcast universe.
To another podcast on another network.
That's so fucking stupid.
Tanner, I mean, Skylar, did you listen?
Yeah, listen. I know Joe Budden. I know.
You did not listen to Muscle Orchestra today, you fucker.
Listen, I haven't listened to it any day, but maybe I'll start. That's
Wow.
the content I can expect.
Wow. Well, yeah, let me tell you, me and Chris have been killing it. 9 episodes over a year and a half. Anyways, Terraria. I mean, we talked about this earlier. It sounded like I would be the only one that would maybe go to bat for it in the top 10.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I'm not willing to go to bat hard.
Yeah. I had like a small affair with this game back in the day, but I never got into it the way people are into it.
Skylar, you mentioned earlier there was a game you got your very ragey roommate into. I just assumed it was Terraria for some reason. That seems like...
Oh, no. That was actually Battlefield 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Interesting. I definitely would have guessed Terraria or Minecraft.
Yeah, actually, I guess it would have been maybe late 2011, early 2012 is when I started playing League, and that was when I started the rage.
Yeah, I do have I broke my first ever like gaming mouse playing League in probably 2012, so that checks out. Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, no longer in 27 font, bolded, underlined, and italicized. Let me speak my truth. Zelda doesn't really do much for me. Like I like Breath of the Wild. I like Tears of the Kingdom. And all the other games I have gone back and played have been fine. And this is also one of those games.
I mean, I think that this is a very good Zelda game. But I mean, this would probably be my top 10 is what I'll say. So how do we feel?
It's a flawed game, but it's still a damn good game.
I heard 2 people say it's a damn good game, essentially. So,
well, to be fair, Skylar said it may make my top 10. I don't know if that equates to damn good game.
Would you say it's a damn good game, Skylar?
Yeah, it's damn good.
Oh, okay.
I played it for the first time for this podcast, so I do think I have like playing these games a lot in 2024 eyes. Like I think hurts a lot of these games, and the fact that I was just like, oh yeah, this is like way better than people said.
Can I ask what system you played it on, or did you emulate it?
I emulated it.
Okay, I was just wondering if you were playing with fucking motion controls.
Clip that, guys. We're gonna blackmail Skylar for being a criminal.
Skylar said worst thing on podcasts.
Yeah.
Listen, the cops could never touch me. I burned my fingerprints off.
Yep. He's friends with Joe Budden.
You can't keep getting away with this.
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This was a game I played for the first time last year. Pretty good.
Well, Not all at once?
I played this for the first time in a hotel room because my house had burned down and we were put up in a hotel for like a month while we were looking for a rental house.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
And I went to the GameStop and bought this game to ease my worries, my woes from dealing with losing all of my earthly possessions in a house fire. You know what? Still sort of sucked. So even with that fond memory,
would you say the worst thing that happened to you that month?
Yeah, it's pretty fucking bad.
Damn.
I actually I think that over time people have come back around on it a little bit. Just because everyone just wants a new Marvel game and we're upset that we don't have one, but I'm not gonna let it off the hook. I think it's a little bad.
Yeah, I thought it was fun, but like last year I played a lot of old fighting games, and I don't think this would make the top 10 of those, to be completely fair. But I still think it's a good game. So you can cut it.
Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception.
I think people are too mean about Uncharted now. Post Last of Us, I think people are a little unfair to Uncharted. That being said, is Uncharted 3 the worst Uncharted?
No,
great question.
2 is pretty fucking bad.
I'm looking what we have soft locked. I don't think, and I know we're just soft locking. I don't think Uncharted gets into the top 10 based on what we have soft locked. So
yeah, I don't know how to judge this game like outside of the context of the series, which is, the series is, I've played all of them and enjoyed them all, but I just don't think that this game is worth singling out and being like, yeah, this is a great game of the year, Nintendo, or anything like that.
I think Uncharted 3 would be the weird Naughty Dog game from this decade to do that too.
I mean, The Last of Us was also this decade, right?
Yes, but we'll fucking talk about Last of Us.
Not today, we won't.
No, not today. Probably next June or something.
We'll talk about it during the cut section, the first cuts round of 2015.
All right, so I'm gonna read what we have soft.
Wait, and also Uncharted 4 is so much better than 3.
Oh
yes,
yeah. I'm gonna read what we have soft locked. I think we have 14 games, 15 games.
We didn't really make a dent there. I'm gonna be honest with you.
We definitely did. I think that's insane to say. So what we have left, we have Rayman Origins, Super Mario 3D Land, The Witcher 2, Assassins of Kings, Dark Souls, Binding of Isaac, Catherine, Driver San Francisco, LA Noire, La Mulana, Little Big Planet 2, Murder Dog 4, Trial of the Murder Dog, Pokemon Black and White, Portal 2, Rhythm Heaven Fever, and The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword.
Sounded like you said Rayman Fever. Rayman Origins. Like, everybody loves Rayman. And that's just a funny visual, Tanner. So
everybody does love Rayman.
Yeah, he's a cute little guy. He has no arms and legs, but he's got hands and feet.
Yep, and he has charisma.
Is it worth noting that Rayman Legends is better than Origins?
I don't think...
not for the no, we all need to
I don't think
like we all agree on
it
that,
is.
Right?
It is.
Oh no, yeah. But also that's like calling fucking something good better than something bad.
Wow. Hell yeah.
Rayman Legends is such a fucking good game. It's
I just think like Rayman Origins, like, it just felt like it instantly got in here, and I get people may feel strongly about it, but
This game introduced the rabbits.
No, it didn't.
What are you talking about? That's not even true.
Yeah, I said it. And that sounded wrong immediately. I guess the
Raving Rabbids was a Wii launch title.
Yeah,
You named
it
it.
was. The rabbits have been around for like 20 fucking years.
Also the minions were in this game before they were in Despicable Me.
Yeah, they were the rabbits.
Did you know my uncle actually works at Ubisoft? And
I thought you were gonna say he works for Gru. He's
yeah, he plays for the Nuggets.
Tight.
Awesome.
nuts.
So we need to cut 5 of these games.
Okay.
I see the 5 I want to cut.
Let's just say one that we think should go.
Okay. And
Back off. What are we doing here?
I don't understand why you changed the font on Rhythm
Stop
Heaven
it.
Fever.
I obviously did not mean to do that.
But
Caused me pain.
But it looked so coordinated. You were like, let's talk about one I need to cut. And then
Rhythm Heaven Fever.
I do think that we should cut Rhythm Heaven Fever just because
Perfect.
it's not because it's fun game, but it would not make my top 10 on this list.
Out of these 15 games, it wouldn't make your top 10.
Okay. It wouldn't make any top 10. I also think that the games that we had a little more controversy getting in, those are going to be first on the list, and this squeaked in. So,
boom.
Okay.
Catherine also seemed to be in that bucket.
Yeah, that was going to be the game I bought up.
I can't believe because Chris was the other person who supported Catherine besides me, right?
Yes.
And now he just went to go piss and said,
"Yeah."
I didn't know that.
A coward behavior.
Oh wait, Chris also said, "Quick, my choice would be Catherine."
Catherine. That's so funny.
Yeah, that's why I feel betrayed because I thought.
Oh my
God.
Fuck yeah, Chris went to piss and just gave us the layup for that.
Catherine is so much better than some of these games.
It's not better than Rhythm Heaven Fever, which went first. So
Chris isn't here. La Milana.
No, come on, you can't pull that.
That seems dirty to do with Chris currently MIA, but Chris is a notoriously quick pisser.
I don't like that.
Everybody knows that about Big Pimpin' Joe Bud and Chris.
I felt like we landed on everyone kind of likes Little Big Planet too, but also
let's cut that. Yeah, cut it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's a good game. I would say all these games we have left are good games. Like those 14 of them were good.
Wow.
In my opinion. Chris, don't worry. We got rid of fucking Catherine, buddy.
Look, but you still don't need to slander it.
Yeah, it's a good game. We all agree.
It's a good game.
Where are we landing on Binding of Isaac?
It's a top 3 contender.
Yeah, I think it's a top 3 contender as well.
Okay. I really like it. Would be in my top 10, but I was not sure what the vibe was.
Yeah, that seems like a surefire.
Well, Chris, I stole your cut, so if you have another cut, because I called Catherine before we saw your message.
Okay. Did Little Big Planet also get cut?
Yeah, we kind of disagreed that we all kind of liked it, but it doesn't hang on this list.
Because that was going to be mine, because with Rayman Origins and a Mario game, like having 3 platformers.
Do we not count La Milana as a platformer, or is that more distinct?
Well, that's
a different thing.
It's a different vibe than
like
it's not a mascot platformer.
Yeah, it's an indie platformer, Sam.
I don't know.
I mean, we have so we only need 2 cuts.
I have 2. I think there's 2 very clear cuts.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I bet Skylar and I are thinking the same. Man. Yeah, so Chris, you cut one, and then we'll have to cut one more. You can go ahead and move whoever's on slot number 10.
We cutting Pokemon?
Yeah.
I feel.
Yes.
Hold on. Can I make an argument real quick before we cut Pokemon?
Sure.
I'd be
You can
willing
try.
I would be willing Super Mario 3D Land get cut if I can get Pokemon on the list.
I think we should just cut both in that case.
Yeah, I would say let's cut both.
Wrong, because I'd cut The Witcher 2 over either of those games.
I don't know about that. I feel like Pokemon at least was a cut. Is that right? How are we feeling? Tanner
I mean,
will stand up.
Skylar said it was a borderline 10 based off what was left when we talked about it. Skylar, how do you feel about Pokemon on this list of 12?
Well, that's before you cut Catherine and betrayed me. I like Pokemon Black and White. It is my least favorite of all of these games.
Fuck. Okay. Well,
Wow. I love it. Okay.
God damn it. Okay. Well, you can bite my ass before Super Mario 3D Land leaves this list then.
Well, how do we all feel about Super Mario 3D Land now?
It is not the worst game left on this list.
Yeah, that's Portal 2. But I'll take
Well, yeah.
3D Land off is fine. It's either that or Portal 2 for me. I don't think anything else. I would be happy if it got cut.
Yeah, I'm not a big Portal 2 guy.
Rayman Origins, but it seems like that has enough support to move up.
I would cut Rayman Origins before Super Mario 3D Land.
I would
See, I'm
easily
the exact
cut Super
opposite.
Mario. Yeah.
If I'm gonna have a platformer on here, like that's the one. And
Well, that's crazy because we're talking about cutting 1 out of 3.
we've decided a lot of Luna is a little different. And I respect that because it's not in the same vein of platformer.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
like Skyward Sword over 3D Land, though, really?
I have kind of in the same boat as Skylar, as like replaying that game like made me see its charms a lot more.
But did you replay it on Switch?
No, I have the Wii copy, which
Okay, well, fuck me.
means it is, and sometimes very annoying to play.
He
Unlike
struggled
Super Mario-
for this joy, Tanner, and you're trying to rob him of it?
Unlike Super Mario 3D Land.
I think here's the thing is that Skyward Sword was one of the last sort of obviously pre Breath of the Wild, like more traditional 3D Zeldas.
Yeah, that is how
Whereas
years work.
we have had a ton of different like 2D Mario games, including one that came out last year. So there's just a lot more to compare it to, and I think Skyward Sword feels a little bit fresher because of that.
I think that's a fucking crazy argument to say Skyward Sword feels fresher than a 2D Mario, considering Skyward Sword is like every pre Breath of the Wild Zelda. That's fine. That's fine.
Tanner, it's sounding fine. Just so you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, whatever.
I think
I
it
would personally
sounds-
cut fucking Dark Souls.
Yeah, well, me and my dad used to play Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword together, so don't you feel bad now?
No, my dad's dead. I don't feel bad.
Well, based on your attitude, he's probably sentenced to a lifetime playing Super Mario 3D Land.
No, my dad actually died pre-2011, so I think he stuck playing like alpha Minecraft. Maybe Roller Coaster Tycoon or something.
Yeah, you know what? That'd be a nice afterlife. Roller
Sure.
Coaster Tycoon for the rest of your days. I guess you have to do it.
Anyone else have any guesses on what their dead relatives are playing?
Hippo.
My grandma, who died this year, last month, huge mahjong, really big into mahjong, and I really wish that I had played the Yakuza series earlier, so I could have played with her.
Yeah.
My great grandma is definitely playing. I mean, she's born in 1910 in Alabama, so yeah, I'd probably just rather not say what she was playing.
My late grandfather.
Incest wars. What is your reply? Exactly.
My late grandfather, God rest his soul, he is still kicking it in the sky doing his Sudoku puzzles.
I definitely thought you were just going to say he was alive.
No, I said late. God rest his soul.
Yeah, but you said he was kicking his.
But yeah, he's kicking it in heaven.
Rest in power.
Playing his Sudoku puzzles on his tablet.
Hell yeah.
Hey, question.
Answer.
Are you going to ask, can you say rest in power to describe white people? Because that's a controversial.
Hey, don't say that to Chris. Big pimp.
I was going to ask, does anyone have any living grandmothers?
Yes.
One. Yep.
One.
I do have one.
All right. Well, this is a dangerous game. My grandmother died a month before last GOTY Gang.
So every time we record, so the life energy that it takes to put this beauty out into the world kills one of our grandmothers every time.
Oh no!
No, fuck. We have like 8 more of these.
I'm gonna call her. And be like, "I'm sorry, but Spelunky #1 is gonna be worth it next year."
Meanwhile, we got to get 2012 in the bag this year. God damn.
I'm sorry, Granny, but it's for sleeping dogs.
The only sleeping dog today is gonna be you.
Oh my.
Man, I'm glad we're all well adjusted enough where we can joke about this. Okay.
Yeah, who would get so offended over a tiny joke about their relatives to leave the podcast over it? What sort of loser?
All right, we talking top 10? Top 10, top 10,
Yeah, do you want to start
10?
at 10 or 1?
Okay, so obviously start at fucking 10. What kind of do you not know how to do you not know content? Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, first of all, 10 games we have left. Binding of Isaac, Dark Souls, Driver San Francisco, LA Noire, La Mulana, Murder Dog 4, Trial of the Murder Dog, Portal 2, Rayman Origins, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, and The Witcher 2 Assassin's Kings.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Should we talk about Murder Dog? Like, I feel like that's the game here that people listening they're going to be like, oh, they definitely just made a game up. Because I did not know this was a game prior to today.
Yeah. So everyone pause this podcast. Go to itch. Look up Murder Dog 4, Trial of the Murder Dog. Come back in half an hour, and easy.
And
Free
it's also for Roman numerals, and Google will try to auto-complete to Murder Dog Ivermectin. Do not search that. You want to search Murder Dog IV : Trial of the Murder Dog. Do not search Murder Dog Ivermectin.
Yeah, that's for the 2021 list.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's a very crude looking game that's incredibly funny. Quite replayable. I actually played it through twice.
Yeah, multiple endings.
Yeah, multiple endings. I'm sure it has more than 2.
It does.
But fuck me, Murder Dog is. I mean,
it's a charming little thing.
Maybe best character on this list.
Yeah, I think that
Sure.
if you have not played it, Murder Dog 4 is made by the Catamites. He's like probably I think one of the most underrated like 2010s indie developer. He still makes games. He's just a random guy in Dublin who was like worked at a bank and then also just made these random super obtuse ugly games.
Is this Rover?
He is South Dublin Trevor Woodhouse or whatever the fuck.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Yeah, doxed. But yeah, I think this game is so funny, and that there's a quote in the trailer that is attributed to postmodern philosopher Frederick Jameson that says it's easier to imagine the end of the world than the end of the Murder Dog, which I agree. It's literally, I think Murder Dog is like has to be a top contender, and I'm glad that we're talking about it just to be like, yeah, this is a great game that you should all play. But
yeah, so it's really, I mean, it's really hard to, I guess, get a full scope of, especially of these early 2010 games, without talking about like some of the shit that only lives on like itch, for instance, because there's so much just good undercover shit, especially in the later 2010s, that like is like just some random person made like in their fucking bedroom like during on a weekend. And Murder Dog 4, I thought, really encompasses like the independent game developer spirit in such a cool fucking way, because like the model for Murder Dog is just like Play-Doh, and then there's just like paper cutouts of like the jury, and then one of the, or I can't remember if it was in both or just one of them, but like if you get locked up in jail, like my first playthrough, I got a 5-year sentence. I got a reduced sentence, and it just shows like a fucking dog in a crate, like just a real dog. I'm just like, that's the good shit. Long live Murder Dog.
I didn't know you could get arrested. I didn't know you could go to jail.
Yeah, I went to jail the first time because I ate evidence.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. But it was a reduced sentence. They couldn't prove me. Police King was scared of me.
I immediately got beheaded. It's just a full thing. It's just a full thing. It's beautiful. It's weird. It feels like 3 separate little mini games all wrapped in one that are just like well written, obviously. And yeah, it's cool.
I'm honestly, Sam, I'm surprised you liked it.
Why wouldn't I?
I mean, you don't like a lot of fun things. So I was going to tell you, because Sam, keep in mind, we have had this on the calendar for 3 months. Also, GOTY Gang is an 18-month-old production already. And Sam was like, can we delay an hour so I can play Murder Dog? And I just wanted to tell Sam, you're not going to like it. Just don't fucking touch it.
You have no idea what I like.
I got a good idea.
Honestly, I thought you wouldn't like this, if I'm being frank.
Like what?
Murder Dog.
I literally fucking played it before you. How could you even hold that opinion?
Just based on like,
yeah, you played like an hour before. I mean, I put it on the list today.
Yeah. I mean, we 3 of us played it for the first time today. But after I played it, I was like, oh, I don't think Sam's gonna like this.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Did you just see the title and went, oh, Tanner's not gonna like that?
Well, no, I just assumed I would have thought you wouldn't have liked it. Obviously, I was wrong, but just based on the actual play of that game, based on your Nintendo fandom overdrive, it didn't seem like your bag. As for like lack of polish.
I don't know if I have a Nintendo fan overdrive. I actively am not a huge fan of the one Nintendo game that made this fucking list.
Yeah, that's because everyone else got rid of the other ones that you loved.
Got rid of Pokemon! Which arguably...
Mario Kart 7 says otherwise.
I was fine with Mario Kart 7 getting cut. I myself said it's like the 4th best Mario Kart. You know what? Cut fucking. Dark.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Can we just do a top
Portal
9?
2.
I guess we do need to discuss what is 10 on this list, and then go from there.
Yeah, I would say based on my own opinion and what it feels like the bottom 3 is probably Portal 2, Rayman, Skyward Sword. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I would have Skyward Sword at 10, just because it was almost cut. Interesting that Sam put 10 by 3 games.
The rankings do need a change.
I
Just want to try it out, see how that feels.
I'm okay with Skyward Sword at 10. It is a game like very charming. I think it does hold up, especially if you do play like the re-release and don't have to use motion controls. And there's stuff with backtracking and stuff that can be annoying. But if we're judging it by like how it was at release, specifically, Skyward Sword, I think, slots in nicely at 10.
Can I say something before Portal 2 and Rayman Origins get ranks? Can we talk about Driver San Francisco other than it got soft locked because 2 people said, "Oh, that game's beast"?
3 people, I believe, said that.
Tanner, do you not think this game is beast?
I think it's good. I only
played it because you recommended it.
I did not recommend this game.
Dang, I swear you did.
No. To me, and maybe to Chris, I don't think it's better than Rayman Origins. Like, with this panel, it probably makes it above Portal 2 based off of what I'm hearing, but I don't think it makes it ahead of Rayman Origins.
I mean, I think Driver San Francisco probably this year, the year that 2011, this may have been would be really up there for me. I think it's a really great game, and yeah, who gives a fuck about Rayman? I don't know. Rayman, like, Driver San Francisco is such a unique, interesting game, and such a relic of the time too. I think it represents 2011 in like a really funny way, and Rayman is just good. Like, it's good, but we got other bigger fish to fry here.
I kind of feel like very similar. Like, I would probably rank them around the same area of my top 10. Because we are talking Origins and not Legends.
Sure.
Which is the superior game.
That's true, but also impossible to play Rayman Legends in 2011.
Well, good thing I have sure.
All, that's not. Can't you just play on like the PS4?
No, he said
in 2011.
Yes.
I mean, yes, I think it's undeniable. Rayman Legends is
like,
a better, but also like Breath of the Wild is better than the Skyward Sword, so I don't think that is a argument.
Very different games.
I'd argue Legends is different than Origins,
but I'm just talking in the way like Origins is a very good platformer. Like, easily for me a top 10 game of the year. But like with very charming art style and level design. But it could be like fine-tuned in a way to make it a better game, and they did make that. And Driver San Francisco, very.
It's perfect the way it is what you're saying.
I mean, I have Driver top 5. I think it's such a cool riffing. That it's got style for days.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. If we had a best style category, Driver San Francisco has it in spades.
I'm not. I would just wanted to know where, because I know it got soft lock literally because consensus was Beast, lock it in. I just wanted to know deeper thoughts. That's
Just
fine.
asking questions.
Just asking questions.
But yeah, I would have both.
This is Beast.
I would have both Driver San Francisco and Rayman Origins in like the range we're talking about them.
Okay. So I think the next level of game here is I think is like a La Mulana Witcher 2 situation based on conversation. I don't know if I'm sure Sam's going to say Witcher 2 is his game of the year of 2011, but I was just wondering, or number 2, I guess. Is that kind of like, is that okay? Or do multiple of y'all have like Witcher 2 top 3? Because I have no strong feelings for any Witcher besides Witcher 3. So like Witcher 2, like I have seen it, I have played a little bit of it, it does nothing for me. Talking about like the good jank, I don't think Witcher 2 has that.
I think that's bullshit.
So
yeah, Witcher 2, my number 2 game of the year.
Yeah, fucking nailed that one.
With a bullet.
Yeah.
It's
I do think I do have an opinion on Witcher 2. Which is it is the worst Witcher game. So I would be totally okay with having it at 6.
Oh, so it should definitely go behind Rayman Origins then.
I mean,
I don't know,
two inferior installments of their own franchise that are still fun, but vastly overrated. The one thing about Witcher 2 that I think is really sick is the fact that like the second half of the game is literally completely different depending on what the choices you make. I mean, there's very few games that pull that off even now.
Sounds like Murder Dog 4 Trials with Murder Dog did just that.
Listen, they are, what a great double feature those two.
You can finish both of them combined in like 30 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you could actually, you could probably do multiple playthroughs if you took like 31, 32 hours for sure.
For sure.
Well,
and then
that didn't tell me anything because Skylar said it's the worst Witcher game. I don't know how that gets it to 6. I'm at least going to say based off this panel, I don't know how that gets it in front of Driver San Francisco.
So I think Driver has a ton of great ideas, and I think they mostly hit it, but also it's just, I think in general, not a style of game that has a ceiling of where it can get to. Witcher 2, I don't think has those same sort of constraints.
Is there a car in Witcher 2? Like late game?
You would have hoped, but no.
Okay, so yeah, I definitely think Witcher 2 7, Driver San Francisco 6 then.
As an actual big fan of both of these games, and you not being a fan of either game, I'm going to disregard that.
Well, I'm also basing it off of, and Chris and Skylar stopped me. Y'all both like Driver San Francisco more than The Witcher 2, do you not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think
Tanner, that was dirty pooling, you know it? It was unnecessary to go 6 and 7 like that. A number that no one's going to care about.
Hey, well, watch this. Rayman Origins or Witcher 2.
Yeah, no, we're set. We're all good. From
Chris,
comfortably in the 10. It's
Chris. Is Rayman Origins ahead of Witcher 2 for you?
I think Skyward Sword is number 1.
That would be awesome if we just didn't talk about Dark Souls the whole time and it just ends at 2. Like it doesn't even win. It just that would be a great bit.
No, it's winning.
Maybe. Okay, well that's awesome because La Mulan is definitely 5. Like I have a soft spot at least for these 4 games in various different ways. La Mulan is 5, and
wait, why? But why is that 5 over? I mean, I know that we're getting tight here, but how do we feel about LA Noire being 5?
I'm judging this based off I like LA Noire more than La Mulana. And I think Sam would agree with that.
I could go either way. Don't really have a strong emotional attachment to either one of these games.
I mean, I guess if we're talking the difference between 5 and 4, I don't have a huge preference. I personally would like to see LA Noire ahead of La Mulana, but I would be fine with.
But yeah, I think Driver's better than LA Noire.
Well, I think Driver's better than La Mulana, so I don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Same.
So. Then
No.
wait, hold on. What if we did LA Noire 6, La Mulana 5, Driver San Francisco 4?
Now we're talking.
How do we feel
Now
about
we're
that?
talking.
I do not like that.
Rayman Origins 7, Witcher 2 8.
We're not doing this.
Portal 2, number 3?
No.
La Mulana or LA Noire? Which is going 5? Which is going 4?
Hold on. What did we? Did nobody else like the Driver San Francisco idea?
No.
Okay. Well,
It's not going to happen. So
I mean, I think Skylar and Chris. No, I'm just saying.
Chris
I think
and Skylar, you talk LA Noire and La Mulana because you're both the pokes. I think in the camp for both of these games.
All right,
LA and Tanner are lesser.
It's really difficult because LA Noire is one that I have a lot of nostalgia for. Like my first time playing it in high school, it was like a revelatory experience with just had a bunch of friends playing it together and like choosing dialogue options and what we're going to do with like witnesses and stuff. That was a really fun experience, and so I have a lot of nostalgia for it, and it's like really charming when I've replayed it. But like La Mulana is one that playing for the first time in the last year and just like banging my head against it and just like the way it's a Metroidvania type action platformer that really makes you like consider how you're exploring in the way that like a Dark Souls does. Like taking a jump down somewhere and then finding out like, oh, I should not have done this. This was a bad idea. And like it's so captivating in that way. And so I think I would slightly give the nod to La Mulana, but it's really close.
Skylar.
Yeah, I think both games are very 2011 and very cool. La Mulana is really great, and it's the one for me. Yeah, I think I actually played a game very recently called Void Stranger. I don't know if anyone's played that. And it really made me appreciate and sort of go back and be like, oh yeah, like this specific type of doling out secrets and story and stuff is still not often replicated. There's still a lot of games that just like do not get how to tell a compelling story through puzzles and through world and shit like that. So yeah, worth recognizing for sure. LA Noire is tight. Excited for the Tim Rogers video that when it drops. But it's not particularly close for me.
You know what? I didn't peg the game as a weeb game until you said that, and then it all clicked on why you like it so much.
Shut up.
Oh man.
You just got shut down by big pimpin' Joe Budden.
Joe Budden.
Joe Budden, goddamn it.
Oh man.
Man.
And now it's
Sam,
down to 2.
your ass is going to be on the Breakfast Club, brother.
I don't think you can say any of this right now. Binding of Isaac.
You can't be
or
saying that like,
Murder
baby.
Dog 4. What'd you say? Are we all going delirious?
Yes, we are. And what will help us is to slot Murder Dog 4 at number 3, Binding of Isaac number 2, Dark Souls number 1.
Do
What?
people think La Mulana could beat out Binding of Isaac?
No.
No one else would back me up on that. Okay.
I mean, I just think just based off the panel being all 4 of us feeling pretty strong about Binding of Isaac beats out 2 people feeling really strong about La Mulana. And if it's the difference between one spot, yeah.
Yeah, Tanner would never start going wild about a 1-spot difference in this list.
No, never, no list. I mean, personally, I would have Binding of Isaac 2, Murder Dog 4 at 3. I mean, personally, I mean, because I'm not winning. Dark Souls is number 1. I mean, that was obvious from the second we started this spreadsheet. I'm not winning that argument. That's fine. I don't. I mean, I will say I put hundreds of hours into Binding of Isaac over probably a 10-year period. I put 45 minutes into Murder Dog, and they're both great times. But I don't, in good conscience, cannot have Binding of Isaac below Murder Dog.
It is, I think, a bit of a toughie. Because I'm also like, I just played Murder Dog 4 for the first time today, an hour
Same.
before this podcast started.
Yep.
30 minutes before this podcast started.
That you want to delay a whole hour.
Well, someone was saying that it takes an hour. So I want to make sure I had plenty of time.
We have established that Skylar is a completionist.
That's
They 100% of the game they cut today.
Just to make sure it was bad.
And he was correct. He nailed it. But like, it's so fresh. Like, it's so novel to me.
I mean,
it's not like anything I've really played.
I do agree. I do think if we're looking at the hindsight here, games have built upon the Binding of Isaac formula in ways where there are better games in the genre than Binding of Isaac. First of all, I wouldn't even know what fucking genre you would call Murder Dog, which I think is an achievement upon itself. But like, what game is like Murder Dog 4? Murder Dog 3? Murder Dog 5? I don't know.
Technically, it's the only game in the Murder Dog franchise so far.
Are you for real? There's not
obvious to me.
There's not a one. Did not to me. There was
Come
a whole
on,
lore
Tanner.
established. Wow. I mean, fuck. I mean, I would feel silly. Like on my personal list, I would not have Murder Dog above Binding of Isaac. If everybody else disagrees, Murder Dog at 2 is a-okay with me, because it is 13 years later such a cool novel experience that I don't think many games have replicated in that specific way.
I think that even though like I would have loved to get La Mulana in here, I think that my duties, like getting Murder Dog in the top 3 is okay. I'm okay with Binding of Isaac at 2. I would say the top list of games, the top 10 is actually pretty tight. Like looking at outside of Portal 2, which sucks. But
just think of the co-op. I mean, just completely disregard the single player.
I've seen the single player. I just never played it. Well, let me ask you this. How do we feel about cutting Portal 2, getting Pokemon back on this list? Legend of Zelda moves up to 9, Pokemon at 10.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah,
just-
if you had said this about an hour ago, you would have had me hook, line, and sinker. But
Come on, we
Okay.
can still do it. We can still do it.
okay, so Binding of Isaac 3, Murder. Wait, sorry, reverse that.
Yeah, I was like, wow, you just disregarded everything everybody said, huh?
Murder 4. Sorry, Murder 4 3.
Yeah.
Binding of Isaac. Dark Souls 1.
I mean, do y'all want to talk about Dark Souls?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, want to talk about Dark Souls?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't know, the whole concept of GOTY Gang is eventually we're going to take the top 10s of every year and come up with a top 25 of the decade. So Dark Souls will be talked about extensively there, but I figured y'all would want to talk a little bit about Dark Souls as it did just win.
Can I? Here's the thing: is I think Dark Souls is not the best Souls-born game, and it's also not my favorite. Like, I think that the reason why I'm so comfortable, and I think all of us are so comfortable putting this at number one, even though it may not be anyone's favorite of that franchise, is because it feels so 2011. Feels extremely iconic, and it does sort of hold up as like it still has a lot of cultural cachet. Um, I think I don't was it everyone's first Souls game? It wasn't mine, but
It was mine. I
Yeah.
played it for the first time for this.
wow,
I've never played a Soulsborne game before
Oh,
this.
wow.
that's wild.
Well,
And it
I
was
played
number one
Blood.
for you.
I played
yeah.
Bloodborne.
I was charmed by it. Like, first off, I just like had no, like, especially the like big games of this year. And it's just like, Skyrim, whatever, Arkham, whatever. And Dark Souls, I mean, like playing it with fresh eye, it was definitely like an I get it moment for me playing it and just kind of experiencing what everyone's been talking about for all the years, and just seeing like how the world building is done, and just the little moments of trying to maneuver and explore, and like I think it just felt fresher to me than a lot of the other games here.
Yeah, I think that I mean just to devil's advocate a tiny bit. I mean, I do think that if it does fall off a cliff in the second half, and obviously it's been iterated on quite a bit since then, and even Demon Souls. I mean, there's also nostalgia because it was my first Souls game, but I think Demon Souls has like a certain charm that maybe wasn't entirely replicated. Um, but yeah, I think it's probably going to be more interesting to talk about this in a wider context against all the other Soulsborne games because it's so clearly was like a decade defining work. That's like hard to really nitpick it in this context.
Yeah, I mean, there's even as somebody that just has I have an appreciation for these games. Again, they're not my cup of tea, but there really is like no denying I mean cultural impact, which I know is not like a defining factor with this list, but it's like comparing it to the rest of this list, it's kind of undeniable in that way. Like it feels like this game is like the titan amongst the mere mortals of the rest of the list, and that this game is still so present in just people that talk about games even a decade and a half later at this point. Like it's kind of a undeniable machine.
Yeah, I pick it up every other year and do a playthrough to about the last quarter to a third of the game, and then I put it back down. But that's not an indictment to the entire experience because it's almost feels singular to a degree. But all
Yeah,
of them
like
had a kind of charm.
because we've talked a lot about how like other games on this list compare to other like either previous or like future games in the franchise, and I think part of it is like Dark Souls. Like these are 10 good games, but I think in one Dark Souls is just better than a lot of the other games that we've kind of compared. And like even if this isn't even like a top 3 Soulsborne games when it's all said and done, I think like knowing that like future installments of the franchise are considered better, like I'm really excited to play Bloodborne now. Like I'm excited to play Bloodborne and Dark Souls 2 and
Souls 2.
So it's like I have no idea what point I'm getting at, but I guess it just, like you said, in that it feels more singular with Dark Souls as compared to like Rayman Origins or Skyward Sword don't really feel that singular to me.
Yeah. It feels like I am a big fan of Demon Souls, but it does feel like Dark Souls connects a lot of the dots from that game. And then going forward, 2 speeds things up, 3 stands down some edges. Bloodborne does the format in a little bit of a different way. Sekiro isn't really in the same vein at all. Yeah, I think like Dark Souls feels like, okay, that's where the distillation of this idea kind of occurs, and like this is as tight as that kind of experience is going to be.
Alrighty. Are we sure we don't want to take Portal 2 off and put Pokemon?
Yep.
Positive.
I actually, now that we're at the end of it, like fuck it, because actually never mind. I changed my. I thought about Chris saying, "Remember the co-op." That's just what I'm gonna.
Yeah, just remember the co-op.
The only part of the game.
Wow.
The year is 2011.
I can't believe Big Pimpin has betrayed me.
You're sitting on the couch with your best friend. You're a junior in high school, so you can't buy beer.
I was definitely
but you stole some beer that your big brother left in the fridge.
I was a freshman
Life is good.
sophomore in high school in 2011. Okay. All right. Our top 10 games of 2011. Number 10, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Number 9, Portal 2. Number 8, Rayman Origins. Number 7, The Witcher 2 Assassin of Kings. Number 6, Drivers San Francisco. Number 5, LA Noire. Number 4, La Mulana. Number 3, Murder Dog 4 Trial of the Murder Dog. Number 2, Binding of Isaac. And number 1, GOTY Gang's 2011 Game of the Year, Dark Souls. I'll be honest, pretty good list, all things considered.
Honestly, I wasn't sure The Witcher 2 was going to even make the list.
I'm going to be honest too. Me neither.
We're getting down to 12. I wouldn't look it right in the eye. I was just avoiding eye contact with that cell.
Yeah. Do we think
So-
looking randomly at 2010 versus 2011 that, I mean, when we talked off mic, we thought 2011 was going to suck, and I think 2011 is probably better than 2010.
No, our top 10 list?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that outside of really Near, and maybe New Vegas. I would say there's more games on this list that I have like more real emotional attachment to.
Oh, see, I would disagree with that.
Like the top 5 of this is pretty unimpeachable.
Mm.
Yeah, I think
Well, that's a conversation for 6 years from now.
What are we doing?
I don't agree with that. Let me tell you, just looking at the short list we have for 2012 so far, 2012 is going to be a bloodbath. I don't think anybody's going to be happy with 2012. Ooh, I see another 2D Mario. Can't wait to talk about that.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
Yeah, it's a better one.
Oh, shut. Oh, man. You wait. Oh, man. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to GOTY Gang 2011. As always, you can follow the network hosting this, All You Can Hear, at AYCH Podcast on Twitter, on Instagram, All You Can or AYCH Podcast on YouTube, all twitch.tv/AllYouCanHear. Go follow all those. Leave us likes, review, subscriptions, ratings, all that jazz. And that's all I have as far as personal plugs. Sam, take it away.
You can follow Violent People, a wrestling website that is very, very good. At violent_people on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Also, just visit the website, violentpeople.co.
Oh, yeah, do that. Join our Discord as well. It's fun in there.
Oh, yeah, join the Discord. Click on the link tree, join the Discord. There's like 150 people in it. It's actually kind of nuts. Chris!
Yeah. Follow Violent People. Listen to Muscle Orchestra.
Yeah.
If you want to follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Fight Haskins. That's what I got.
Hell yeah. Skylar, bring us home.
There's a television program on the Amazon Prime streaming service called Fallout. It's very cool. It has raised the interest in the Fallout franchise so much so that Fallout 76 is just fully alive and kicking, and everyone's playing it. Everyone's playing Fallout 4. Everyone's playing Fallout 3. Everyone's playing whatever. All the games.
I booted up my favorite game of all time, Fallout 4, after watching that show.
Everyone's doing it. The numbers don't lie. The numbers do not lie. People are unironically doing this.
Yeah, I saw Fallout 4 had like 160,000 people playing it on Steam this past weekend. It was actually kind of fucking nuts.
Yeah,
Steam Deck Reddit is covered with New Vegas players.
Yeah, it is.
You want to give us a date for Fallout 5 while we have you on the line?
I can confirm my date will be like boop. It's going to be one of those. And I'm not saying a racial slur.
What the fuck? I don't think anyone would have get.
No, I would have assumed that.
Yeah, definitely hear that. Oh, that definitely wasn't.
If you hear a censorship thing, it's not because I'm saying a slur. It's because I was breaking the NDA. I was letting the real ones know the date, but you all listening out there don't get that. Sorry.
Damn, that sucks.
But yeah, against all odds, that game is just back, which is really cool to see. I quite like that, and I think everyone listening to this would enjoy playing those games.
Well, I'm glad the little guys finally won one.
Thank you for that. This is the end, right? You can just cut this part out.
No, I'm gonna stop the recording. Hey, thanks for listening. GOTY Gang 2012.
Wait. By little guys, do you mean the group of people that I used to slur about earlier?
What the fuck are you saying? saying. I don't edit this. Anyways, thanks for listening. GOTY Gang 2012 coming this summer. Bye.